Why do Americans drive everywhere, even to the gym, across the street? If you're visiting, living, or working in the US, transportation might surprise you. In this video, I'll explain how Americans get around, why cars are so important, and what to expect when traveling by plane. Hi, I'm Lisa from ESL Speaking Corner, and this is episode 5 of the American Culture Series. Today we're talking about transportation, travel habits, and etiquette in the United States. Driving culture in the US. In most parts of the United States, driving is essential. Many cities were built for cars, not for walking or public transportation. So people often drive to work, to school, to the grocery store, even to places that are only 5 minutes away. Owning a car is very common, especially outside big cities like New York, which is where I'm originally from, or Chicago. Americans also love road trips. Driving long distances for vacations, holidays, or weekends is normal, even 6 to 10 hours. In fact, I drove to Georgia. It was for a business training by myself from New York to the state of Georgia. Also, as a family, we drove from New York to Florida and back again. Driving represents freedom and independence in American culture. And this is what expats often miss when they move from the United States to another culture. For example, I moved here to the Philippines, and that's one of the things that I do miss is just jumping into your own car and going. It's not always necessary to have a car in certain countries, but when you're used to having one, you do miss it. Public transportation. Public transportation exists, but it's very different depending on the city. Big cities may have subways like New York, buses, trains, but not everywhere is there a subway system. And not everywhere are there reliable buses, or sometimes no buses at all. And not everywhere has trains. But in many smaller cities and suburbs, public transportation is limited or slow. So because of this, Americans may assume you have a car and may be surprised if you don't. It can be very difficult if you don't have a car. So if you are planning to work or live in the United States, consider that very carefully. If you'll be able to afford a car or if you really need one. Likely you will. Flying in the US and TSA rules. Well, flying is extremely common in the US, even for short trips. When you fly, you must go through TSA security. So what is TSA? TSA stands for Transportation Security Administration. It's a U.S. government agency within the Department of Homeland Security that's responsible for securing transportation systems, especially airports, to ensure safe travel and commerce. And they're famous for airport security screening. So here are a few expectations when you go to the airport. Arrive early. You'll have to remove your belts, your jackets, and most of you are probably used to this if you've traveled before. I don't think we do shoes anymore, but in some places you might have to remove your shoes. You have to take out your electronics like your laptops and tablets and liquids out of your bag and put them in a bin. And then they go through, of course, the checkpoints. And Americans usually follow rules quickly in the airport and move fast. And small talk with strangers is common, but people also respect personal space. So travel etiquette and expectations. A few important etiquette tips. Stand in line and wait your turn. Americans do respect the line. That is not true in some cultures. Again, here I'm in the Filipino culture and they do not respect the line. Someone will cut in front of you, or it's like a first come, first serve. You know, that's what they say. First come, first serve. That's the mentality that they have here. But coming from an American culture, we respect the line. So if somebody tries to get ahead of us, we're like, hey, wait your turn. So don't be surprised. Be on time, especially for flights. Americans do typically like to be on time. And again, if you're from a certain culture that doesn't really respect time, Americans do. Keep your voice low on planes and public transportations. We can speak, we can have conversation, unlike countries like I know Japan, Taiwan, complete silence. on public transportation. It's okay in the US, but just don't be loud. Americans do value efficiency and schedules when traveling. So yes, Americans really do drive everywhere. We really do. Understand your transportation culture will help you travel confidently, avoid confusion, communicate better with Americans. If this video helped you, like, subscribe, and check out the other episodes in the ESL American Culture Series. See you in the next video.